Why cheap products often cost more in the long run. Imagine buying a toy for $5. You get excited. It looks cool. It works for one day. Then it breaks. Now you buy another one. Then another. Then another. And suddenly, you spent more money than the kid who bought the strong toy once. This is one of the biggest money traps adults fall into. Cheap things often feel smart at first, but over time, they quietly become expensive. Today, we'll explain why cheap products often cost more in the long run. Like you're 5 years old. Imagine two kids. One buys cheap shoes for $20. The other buys stronger shoes for $100. The cheap shoes look fine at first, but after 3 months, the bottom breaks. Water gets inside. The shoes hurt. Now the kid buys another pair. Then another. Then another. After 1 year, the kid spent more money than the person who bought the stronger shoes on. This happens everywhere in life. Cheap headphones, cheap phones, cheap furniture, cheap tools, cheap clothes. Many cheap products are designed to break faster. Not always because companies are evil. Sometimes because making durable products costs more money. But the result is the same. You keep paying again and again. Now here's the important part. Most people do not buy cheap things because they are stupid. They buy cheap things because they are trying to survive. If someone only has $20, they cannot buy the $100 shoes, even if the better shoes save money later. This creates something economists sometimes call the poverty trap. When money is tight, people are often forced to choose short-term survival over long-term savings. This is why being poor can sometimes become more expensive. Cheap cars break more. Cheap food can damage health. Cheap tools slow down work. Cheap furniture collapses faster. The person with more money can often buy quality ones. The person with less money may keep replacing things forever. Modern companies understand human psychology very well. They know many people love low prices. Big signs say, sale, limited offer, 70% off, and our brains get excited. Because humans love immediate rewards, especially when stressed. But smart money decisions often require thinking beyond today. A cheap chair is not cheap if it breaks next year. A cheap phone is not cheap if it freezes constantly. A cheap appliance is not cheap if repairs cost more than the original product. Sometimes, the real price appears later, not at the cash register, but slowly over time. There's a famous idea called the boots theory that explains something simple. A rich person buys expensive boots once. A poor person buys cheap boots many times. Over years, the poor person spends more, even though they were trying to save money. This is one of the hidden realities of money. Wealth is not only about income. It is often about durability. Good tools last longer. Good education compounds longer. Good habits protect longer. Cheap decisions can create invisible leaks in life. Tiny leaks repeated for years become massive financial damage. But wait, not everything expensive is good, and not everything cheap is bad. Sometimes companies charge huge prices just for branding. A shirt with a luxury logo may cost 10 times more, even if the fabric is similar. So the real goal is not buy expensive things. The real goal is understand value. Ask simple questions. How long will this last? Will this save me stress later? Will this help me earn more? Will I need to replace this soon? Sometimes the cheaper option is smart, especially for things rarely used. But for important things you use every day, quality often matters more than price. This idea goes beyond products. It applies to life. Cheap shortcuts can become expensive mistakes. Ignoring health becomes expensive later. Ignoring learning becomes expensive later. Ignoring savings becomes expensive later. Many things in life work like compound interest. Small good decisions grow quietly. Small bad decisions also grow quietly. That's why wise people often focus on long-term thinking, not just immediate comfort. Because life is full of hidden costs, and Hidden costs are usually the most dangerous ones. So, why do cheap products often cost more in the long run? Because price and value are not always the same thing. The cheapest option today can become the most expensive option tomorrow. Smart people do not only ask, "How much does this cost?" They also ask, "How long will this cost me?" That single question can completely change how you think about money. If this documentary changed how you see spending, value, and money, share it with someone who buys things only because they are cheap. And subscribe to Rene Pineda YouTube channel for more simple documentaries about money, economics, financial psychology, and the hidden systems shaping everyday life.